Topfree, a documentary. So what exactly does Topfree mean? Top freedom is gender equality. It's the desexualization of the female form. It's empowering women. And it's the right to bare your breast in a public forum. This is a right that men have had for generations. Here's a brief history of top freedom. In 1900, female bathing suits consisted of a knee-length dress complete with knitted tights and shoes, while male bathing suits were pretty form-fitting with a mid-thigh bodysuit. By 1907, Annette Kellerman was arrested in Boston, Massachusetts for wearing a form-fitting bodysuit, similar to a man. She was the first woman to swim in the English Channel. In 1910, it started becoming socially acceptable for a woman to show her knees in public. In this picture, it illustrates a man on a beach making sure that a woman's bathing suit is socially acceptable by measuring the length from the skirt to her knee. This was a common practice. Meanwhile, in 1910, Hawaiian women and men both go topless without batting an eye. Until missionaries come to the islands and force the women to cover up, that is. By 1930, men start fighting for the right to go topless in public. In 1934, 4 men go topless on a hot day in Coney Island, and they're each fined $1. In 1934, Clark Gable makes history by appearing shirtless in a movie called It Happened One Night. In 1935, 42 men are arrested in Atlantic City, New Jersey for going topless in public. And by 1936, in Westchester, New York, the topless ban on men is lifted. Yet women are still required to wear quite covering bathing suits. By 1946, the original bikini appears in magazines in France, but it was such a risque idea that they had to get a dancer, if you know what I mean, from a casino in Paris to model it for them. Of course, American women still cover up and wouldn't dream of being in public in a bikini. By 1950, women in America start wearing 2 pieces. However, the navel of a female is still considered indecent, and so it's covered up by the bathing suit. Meanwhile, in 1950, there are women in many parts of the world who still go around topless just like men, and it's not considered unusual. By 1952, Brigitte Bardot was the first woman to wear a bikini on the silver screen, and that was in a movie called And God Created Women. By 1960, Brian Hyland popularized bikinis with his song Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Polka Dot Bikini. Bikinis are still regarded as risque by the majority of the population, but some trendsetters are starting to wear bikinis. In 1964, a New York City fashion designer, Rudy Geinrich, developed the first topless female bathing suit. It was more of an avant-garde piece and was definitely not intended to be worn in the United States. Jumping forward a few decades, in 1986, the Topfree 7, a revolutionary group of women, are arrested in Rochester, New York for going topless in public. This arrest and the ensuing court case helped make top freedom a reality in the United States. Later on, in 1991, Gwen Jacobs is arrested for indecent exposure in Guelph, Ontario, for removing her shirt on a really hot summer's day. Her court case helped further the rights of top freedom in Canada. In 1992, the Rochester Topfree 7 case goes to the New York Supreme Court, and because of that, New York becomes the first top-free state. By 1996, Ontario becomes top-free, following Gwen Jacobs' case. In 2005, Phoenix Feely is wrongfully arrested for going topless in New York City. She's awarded $29,000 in damages. In 2007, Rael, a spiritual leader, founds a website called Go Topless. This is an organization that fights for the right of top freedom for both men and women in the United States. In 2008, a group called Femin, a women's activist group in the Ukraine, goes topless to fight for women's rights around the world. In 2008, Facebook changes their photo picture requirements and from then on bans breastfeeding pictures from their website. A lot of attention gets brought to this, and it really helps the Topfree movement. In 2012, Moira Johnston, a very popular top freedom activist, regularly goes around New York City topless to exercise her right and gain awareness. But meanwhile, in 2012, there are Muslim women in conservative countries who still wear bathing suits very similar to what women were required to wear in Victoria-era United States. They're called burkinis. So how far has top freedom come in the United States? Well, although it's not illegal in many states, the awareness of the issue is very low. When talking amongst the people that I know, none of them realized that Alaska is actually a top-free state. That means that both men and women can walk around topless if they want to, and they cannot be arrested for it. So here are some questions that I'd like to ask you. Forcing a man to wear a bikini is ridiculous. So why is that any different than a woman? Let's imagine a man wearing a sports bra to the gym. That seems ridiculous, doesn't it? Let's imagine a man having to wear a t-shirt in 100-degree weather when he's doing physical activity. Also unreasonable. So, which of these pictures is more offensive than the other? Is the picture of a female breast offensive? Is a picture of the male chest offensive? One of the major arguments for why top freedom for women should not be allowed is that a woman's chest has been sexualized and draws a lot of attention from a man, as opposed to how a male chest does not attract that much attention from a female. Yet this eye-tracking study shown here shows that both men and women focus on different areas of the body and that they have pretty similar amounts of focus on areas of the body. The point of top freedom isn't that you have to go topless in public. It's that you can if you want to, and that you can be comfortable wearing a top or not.